Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro City government. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and with me today, as always, around the big round table, Rosemary Plyman.
Hello. Glad to be here. Well, we have another milestone for the Downtown Greenway. Construction is underway on the final cornerstone of the loop, and the focal point of the space is ready for a big debut. Radcliffe Bailey's Ascension is going to be dedicated on Wednesday, February 8th, and all of Greensboro is invited to celebrate. Dabney Sanders is project manager for the Downtown Greenway. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Start by telling us about this fourth cornerstone of the Downtown Greenway, the Freedom Cornerstone.
Yes, so this is the last cornerstone to be built. Of course, it's looking at the important theme of freedom and the role that Greensboro played with our local sit-in movement that really served as a catalyst for the national civil rights movement. That's a piece of our history we're so proud of and has been so impactful to our community. And so this cornerstone piece is really celebrating that part of Greensboro's history.
Yeah. How was Radcliffe Bailey chosen to create the art for this space?
Yeah, so we did a national call for artists. We, of course, always encourage local and regional artists to apply, but for these big public art pieces like our cornerstones, we extend that call out nationally. And Radcliffe applied.
Yeah.
He submitted his qualifications. And I have to say, we sort of took a double take because Radcliffe really is working on an international scale.
Wow.
Very highly regarded. He is in private collections of really important museums and personal private collections, and we were just thrilled that Radcliffe was interested in
he
this.
put his name in the hat.
He put his name in the hat. Yeah, so his work typically focuses on history and culture of African Americans, and so it was just a really nice fit for this particular piece.
I love it.
That's cool.
Well, I'm going to skip around a little bit, Josh, but tell us about this piece then. I mean, describe it a little bit because of course people are listening.
Yes. Well, it's quite a large site at the corner of East Gate City Boulevard and Murrow Boulevard, and that intersection, when the Greenway was built, was completely reconfigured to make it safe. And so we have quite a large open space, and Radcliffe has designed the entire space with pathways in the shape of a Dogon ladder, which has a big history with the people of Mali. And he has used tabby, which is traditionally it's a concrete mixture with oyster shells that was used to make homes for slave cabins in the South. So he's used his own version of tabby in the piece. And then the piece itself is on a concrete base that is in the shape of the hull of a ship. So sort of referencing Middle Passage.
Yeah.
And then there's a large metal structure that goes up 20 feet in the air that is like a railroad track that has turned into a ladder ascending upward.
Oh, wow.
And on top of that is a blue neon star, which of course is referencing the North Star, which was so important in the Underground Railroad as people were using the North Star for navigation to freedom.
I mean, it gives me chills really thinking about it.
It sounds
and I think
amazing.
you mentioned the location too, right there at Gate City Boulevard and Murrow Boulevard. And after all the changes there, it is so open, and you can see from so many directions, and you can get up a little higher and see. You'll be able to see it if you're coming in from downtown or coming from out of town.
Yes.
You're going to see it, or walking. I imagine be just really impactful. It's going to tower over you.
Yes, and that's what we really asked Radcliffe to design a piece that, of course, was good and interesting for people who are traveling on the Downtown Greenway, whether you're walking or biking. But because of that traffic you mentioned, the vehicular traffic that passes by the site, we also wanted it to be something that would be impactful if you're just driving by.
Yeah, and the light too. I think that's gonna really be you're gonna take notice of it.
Exactly.
Change the area.
So where does construction on the Greenway Loop stand as of now?
Yes, so we are preparing to put the final mile section on the western side, the old railroad corridor, out to bid. Okay. That is probably going to happen in the next 5 to 7 weeks. We've had some continued delays in making that happen, but we're pretty hopeful that in the next, as I said, 5 to 7 weeks. we'll be ready for it.
And maybe we'll get some sunshine and it'll stop raining.
Yes, exactly.
But we should say you can still use the downtown. You can do the full loop.
Yes.
I mean, a little detour here and there, or you can walk along the path where it's going to be.
Exactly. You really don't even need to detour now on that west side. The city's Parks and Recreation Department and Field Ops has actually built some temporary bridges over the old trestles there that were a little dicey to walk over. So those are now really nice to walk over, and they're keeping it mowed. And so in fact, Walker and I walked it yesterday, the whole 4 miles, and it's a really exciting thing to do.
And I usually see groundhogs when I walk through there. Do you see groundhogs when you walk through there?
We do. And actually in, I would say 8 months ago, I was with a group walking and we saw a wild turkey.
Oh,
nice.
Which was a huge surprise.
Yeah. Was it a big one? A huge surprise?
Well, it was a female, so she wasn't huge, but yeah, she was an adult.
Interesting. Very cool.
Well, there are all kinds of events happening on the Greenway all the time. So what's coming up and how do we keep up with everything that's going to happen?
Well, we do have lots coming up. We are in the thick of really planning our full spring schedule of events. We're going to continue our walking tours, which happen about once a month. We're continuing to do golf cart tours, which happen about 6 to 8 times a month. We have got some old favorite programming coming back this spring. Goat yoga is returning.
Love that one.
Yes. In fact, I think we're doing 2 sessions because it's so popular. One just isn't enough. And then we also have already set the dates for our 2 signature programs. So the Wheels on the Greenway event will be May 6th. This year in the morning from 9 to 12. And then our Run for the Greenway block party will be September 23rd, and that'll be from like 4 to 8. So if you go to our website, downtowngreenway.org, we have a calendar listing there, and you can find those events. I would say the best way to really keep up with things is to join our mailing list. We send a newsletter out once every 2 weeks, so it's not overwhelming to your inbox, and you really get the latest of what's happening that way.
Perfect.
Love it. Well, let's go back one more time to talk about Ascension because, again, once again, the date for the debut is February the 8th. And we should mention that February is a really important time, to dedicate this. Nationally also, but also in Greensboro.
In Greensboro, exactly. So February 8th at 4 o'clock, will be on the site for the dedication. And then immediately following that, we're going to host a reception at the historic Magnolia House, which is literally just a very short walk away. And then we also are encouraging people after that reception to participate in the Civil Rights Museum's speaker series. They are hosting a speaker series every Wednesday night in the month of February at 6 p.m. It's different speakers in different locations. But the February 8th speaker is Ambassador Andrew Young from Atlanta. And he'll be speaking at UNCG Auditorium. And those are ticketed events. Our event is free. But we just think it'd be a nice kind of bookend to the afternoon to have that opportunity to hear a civil rights icon speak.
Yeah. So cool. Dabney, thank you so much for being with us today. Once again, February 8th, 4 o'clock, Murrow and Gate City Boulevard. You really can't miss it. It's a big, wide open space. There's good parking kind of all around there. So just get there or just walk there. Park somewhere in a deck and walk there. It's a lot more fun. Find out more about all the things going on the Downtown Greenway. Most of them are free. Lots of ways to enjoy the fun. Go to downtowngreenway.org. There's a pop-up there when you sign on where you can sign up for that newsletter Dabney was talking about. So definitely check that out and find the calendar of events and get involved and get moving.
Get moving. Dabney, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget, you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That is our time for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talk City. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. Don't forget, you can watch GTN, your official source for news and information about the city of Greensboro, available on Spectrum Channel 13.
GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website
at greensboro-nc.gov.